Hey Lucy, it's Jonathan, your cheap and cheerful record collector. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. So this is going to be a video of my 10 favorite singer-songwriters. You notice I said favorite and not the 10 best singer-songwriters, because as soon as you say the best, everybody starts freaking out and yelling, how could you leave so-and-so out? They're the best, not the best, they're crap. No, these are my favorite, not the best, my favorite. If the people I left out that you think should be on the list like that, please go ahead and make a video. I'd love to see what your 10 favorite singer-songwriters are. The only one that I would have included, but for some reason I have none of his albums, would be Jason Isbell. For some reason, I just don't have any of his albums, so I really have to fill that hole in my collection. Hopefully do that fairly soon. So let's get started. These are my 10 favorite singer-songwriters. And I'm leaving off the big rockers, Paul Simon, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, all those great. These are more of a country folk kind of singer-songwriters. Okay, so number one for me, and in no particular order, but one of my favorites would be John Prine. And I think this was the first album I've heard of his, Common Sense, from 1975. And it has Middleman, Common Sense, Come Back to Us, Barbara Lewis, Hare Krishna Beauregard, A Wedding Day in Funeralville, My Own Best Friend, Saddle in the Rain, He Was in Heaven Before He Died. Just fantastic album. One of the great singer-songwriters, the late, great John Prine. Love John Prine. Never saw him. The only time I had tickets to see him was here in Portland about 15 years ago, maybe 16 years ago. And I got so sick. I had one of the worst colds I've ever had. I had to sell the tickets. I couldn't go, so missed my opportunity. Number two, in no particular order, one of my favorites of all time is Tom Waits. This is the album Closing Time. This is a repress from 2018. Fantastic, Old 55, I Hope That I Don't Fall in Love with You, Old Shoes and Picture Postcards, Martha, Ice Cream Man, Closing Time. Fantastic. Tom Waits, gone from just him and a guitar or at the piano to heavy orchestrated, very different kind of stuff. He's gone through a lot of genres in his career. But I saw him first time he opened up for Bonnie Raitt at Avery Fisher Hall in New York City, and I had no idea who he was, but it was probably 1972 or 3, and I was like completely blown away by this guy, and I've been a fan ever since. So yeah, Tom Waits, Closing Time. Next one, fantastic Steve Earle. And this is his album El Corazon. And Christmas Time in Washington, Tandytown, Telephone Road, You Know the Rest, New York City, The Other Side of Town, Fort Worth Blues. Saw him a couple of years ago. Just a great singer-songwriter. Very unique. Just love him. I mean, I have a bunch of albums by all these artists. I just happened to grab this one, which I love, El Corazon. Next one is a guy, I assume most people know him, but maybe some people don't, and it's Guy Clark. And this is his album, Texas Cookin', part of that whole Texas outlaw country group of people. And this is just a fantastic album. Texas Cookin', Anyway I Love You, It's About Time, Good to Love You Lady, Broken Hearted People, I'm Feeling the Same, The Ballad of Laverne and Captain Flint, The Last Gunfighter Ballad. If you don't know Guy Clark, you got to check him out. One of the great singer-songwriters. Passed away a number of years ago, but boy, not easy to find up here in Maine. I'm sure down in Texas at the record shows down there, you're probably all over the place. But fantastic, Guy Clark. And in that same vein, but a little different, is one of my other favorites, is the great Town Van Zandt. And this is his album, Our Mother the Mountain. Again, I have a number of different albums by him. I just grabbed this one. Be Here to Love Me, which is great. Kathleen, Our Mother of the Mountain, Snake Mountain Blues, My Proud Mountain, Why She's Acting This Way. Another great singer-songwriter. The great Townes Van Zandt. One of the guys that they always show when they're talking about who created country rock, even though he was instrumental, I don't know if he created it, but he was certainly there in the beginning, is the great Graham Parsons. And this is his wonderful album, Graham Parsons and the Fallen Angels, live in 1973. And this is with Emmylou Harris. They do We'll Sweep Out the Ashes, Big Mouth Blues, New Soft Shoes, Streets of Philadelphia, one of my favorites, Cry One More Time, Drugstore Truck Driving Man, and they ended up with 6 Days on the Road. This is a fantastic album. This was recorded in Long Island, New York, March 13th, 1973, in Hempstead, New York. Oh, what a great album. There you go. Graham Parsons and the Fallen Angels. Can't do a list of great singer-songwriters without the next guy. And of course, that's Leonard Cohen. This is a great album of his live from 1970 at the Isle of Wight. 2-record set. So it's a very young Leonard Cohen, which is really great to hear. He was 35 at the time, which back then in 35, in 1970, I was 21, so he was an old man already. But he does Bird on the Wire, So Long Marianne, Lady Midnight, Tonight Will Be Fine, Diamonds in the Mine, Suzanne, of course, Famous Blue Raincoat. Just fantastic double album. The great Leonard Cohen, live at the Isle of Wight, 1970. Another one who I love, I got to see him at the 1968 Newport Folk Festival, and it's Tim Buckley. I have a number of Tim Buckley albums, but I got this one fairly recently. This was I think it was a Record Store Day issue in 2020, and it's The Dream Belongs to Me, Rare and Unreleased Recordings, 1968 and 1973. The very great, very troubled Tim Buckley, father of Jeff. Even though they really didn't know each other, Jeff was raised by his mother, and I think he only met his father once or twice. But this is a great album of great cuts. 68 recordings, Songs to the Siren, Sing a Song for You, Buzzin' Time, Happy Time, Buzzin' Fly, sorry, Happy Time, and then 73 recordings, Sephirina, The Dream Belongs to Me, Honeyman, Quicksand, just great stuff. So the great Tim Buckley. And can't leave the ladies out, so I grabbed one by one of my favorites, Lucinda Williams. And this is her album, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. We all know this album, which is so fantastic. Right in Time, Car Wheels on the Gravel Road, Concrete and Barbed Wire, Lake Charles, Still I Long for Your Kiss, Joy, Jackson. Just fantastic. Looking forward to getting her newer album. She has a new album now, it's supposed to be amazing. So looking forward to digging that one up, hopefully soon. And the last one I have is a guy from the 60s who I saw a number of times. There used to be a club in New York called the Gaslight. And it was an all ages club. There was no alcohol. And we used to go there when I was like 15 years old, 1964. And we'd see all sorts of folk singers, Dave Van Ronk, etc., and especially this guy, Phil Oakes. And this is his album, All the News is Fit to Sing. Includes One More Parade, The Thresher, Talking Vietnam, Power and the Glory, I think is his best song, Celia, Knock on the Door, Bound for Glory, Too Many Martyrs, the great, late great, very troubled Phil Oakes. I Ain't Marching Anymore. So those are my 10 of my favorite singer-songwriters. Like I said, maybe it comes a thread. Maybe I can see what other people like on singer-songwriters. I could have done a whole other one with showing, like I said, Dylan and Springsteen and Paul Simon and Paul McCartney and etc. But I decided to go a different way this time. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And I appreciate all the new subscribers I've gotten. Well over 2,000 subscribers now, which is just insane. I never expected that at all to ever happen. So if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that bell. And until next time, peace.